Hi there. Hello, one. Hello, all. If it's Star Wars, why wouldn't it be CP and Luke talking? So I figured, hey, we've got a morsel of footage, a trailer to discuss. So why not get together and discuss one of the dozens upon dozens of theories? Joining me for God knows how many of these we'll do. We always seem to plan series and do 2 episodes, and we have like 55 series that have 2 episodes. Joining me is Luke of Razorwire Reviews. Luke, say hi.
Hi. Yeah, so we had about 13.7 seconds of new footage, and we're going to run through the 73 Easter eggs you can find in those 13.7 seconds. And we'll make sure to do a yellow circle around each one of them, like a red arrow.
And highlight at like 800%.
10 seconds explained.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. There's a bunch of them, and you look at view counts, and it's like, I could really just I could just do this. This is that easy. But so since on this channel you haven't spoken as far as, well, since the D23 trailer has released, what are your thoughts on what we were given this week?
Well, it was an interesting one. I don't know if you'd heard about it beforehand, before the footage was released. Had you?
I heard that like they showed like a small amount of footage. I didn't hear it was like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I heard about the Ray thing. I heard that it was going to be like a saga, long sizzle reel. So I kind of knew what to expect. So I wasn't that jazzed up about it. And then I was in work and I checked my phone and it was all like blowing up. A couple of people sent me messages, and the screenshot was Ray and Kylo on the Death Star. And I was like, whoa. So I just had a quick look, and it was like all like the cool shots at the end. And so I just sat down and watched it, and I fucking loved it. I guess, yeah, I've done a video on it, so it feels like I shouldn't repeat myself, but obviously this is a different audience. So I didn't love the editing of the beginning with all the previous saga stuff. It was fine, but like I felt like with the music, which was so well done, they could have edited on the beat a bit more with some of those shots. I just kept thinking like, oh, that could have been more like, and even some of the shots. And,
little tighter, little stretch it, little tighter. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and the real pedant in me was like, okay, so we're going chronologically: New Hope, Empire, Jedi, and then the Empire Strikes Back section. There's a clip of Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi. That's just complete stickler.
Oh wow. Okay.
I liked how they went like release order, which was really strange.
I didn't like that.
I thought it was kind of cool. Like it was, it was the beginning and then like the past, and then I just thought it was just different than, chronological story wise. It was just a different touch I wasn't expecting, I guess. But the new footage, and I think a lot of it is the music, to be honest. Like you put that epic music behind it, and it really it gives it like a whole different level. But as far as the actual footage is concerned, removed from the editing of the trailer and the wah and all that, some pretty cool stuff,
Sure.
The Ray thing is a total, come watch our movie. I think, I don't trust it at all. In fact, I showed it to Connie, and I was like, "So, what do you think about the Ray thing?" She's like, "No, I don't trust it."
Yeah. To quote the Mad Max gif, that's bait.
Yep.
Because there's stuff from the Force Awakens teaser trailer where it was just pieces of vision, and then that big thing for Last Jedi when Rey had Kylo's saber, that was all for a second. So. Not this time. Not this time, sir.
Well, I guess you could even say the bit in the Last Jedi trailer when Rey's saying, I need someone to show me my place in all of this, and she's looking at Kylo and he holds his hand out. But I guess that kind of was, in essence, where some of that relationship was going. So it was more just the kind of, the geography of where those two shots happened, I suppose.
Yeah. How deep a dive have you gone into that footage that we've seen? Because I'll admit, I clicked on one of these 10 things you missed about the 38 seconds that were important.
Well, I tried to. Just about half an hour ago, I clicked on a screen crush video. So a screen crush, if you're watching, your video sucked.
If you're watching.
I turned it off after about 2 minutes because, like, just again, the editing wasn't very good. But like, I don't know. I've heard a few things or read a few things on Twitter. Like, I didn't clock that the Star Destroyers are Imperial Star Destroyers, like not First Order, which makes sense when you look at them. That's a detail I didn't really notice or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you want to go with this stream as far as, I don't want to say spoilers, but like rumors.
Well,
what's your stance on that?
We're in August. The movie comes out in December. If it happens to be a spoil, like here's your theory warning. Like, we're gonna throw some stuff out there. A lot of it's gonna miss, and some of it might hiss. Some of it might hit. So a vague spoiler warning. Like we're gonna talk about stuff. Some things may be true. Some things may not. A lot of stuff has been said. They can't all be right. So, we're just here. We're gossiping. We're BSing about what we were given because. In one of those videos, I think I know what you're getting to. Some of those ships and stuff don't fit timelines and are old and might fit that time travel.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that, actually.
Okay.
No, the rumor that I had heard bits of was that there's a hidden fleet, that might be linked to the Emperor. And so if you see hundreds of Star Destroyers, that kind of ties in with that a little bit.
Yeah, that one shot, it was like, where was that the entire original trilogy? What do you have, 70 of those things just sitting around?
But then you can look into the whole Sith Trooper thing. Have you heard about this?
Are those the red folk?
The red stormtroopers. Yes. Now, I thought that was just like a cool name. The internet had dubbed them, but there was some Disney thing, convention or stand, and there was like a feature out with J.J. Abrams talking about the Sith Troopers. Sith hasn't been around since, the original trilogy as a kind of term. And so maybe that's another part of the Emperor's kind of, contingency plan, perhaps, which if you were into any of the expanded universe stuff, there was bits and pieces of that different authors kind of came up with, like, the clone of the Emperor and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that Star Destroyer thing was really interesting to me because it tied in a bit with maybe that. And I would much prefer that. I would much prefer the Emperor had something up his sleeve than time travel, bringing them all back or whatever. That, and we'll probably talk about the time travel rumors as well.
Sure.
And how we feel about that.
Well, if the Emperor had something up his sleeve, what was he waiting for? Like, why wait 20, 30 years?
He could be waiting for Kylo Ren to reach his full capacity.
Oh, always two there are. Yeah, like I'll buy that. It's just, why. So there was something I was thinking about. I'm going to jump a bunch, but here's the first of it. There was something I was thinking about that, when I watched when the first Star Wars all 6 film set came out, I listened to Lucas's commentary, and he says, this 6 film series, I'd like to call this the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker. And I was like, I like that. Okay, so this is the Anakin story. As much as I wanted more after 6, I was like, okay, so if you're telling me this is 6 films about Anakin and the tragedy of his story, I want more, but I'll take it. What if now with 7, 8, 9, even though we haven't had much in 7, 8, what if the new thing is that these 9 films are about the Emperor, about Palpatine and his interesting reign?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that there could be. There's so many characters and interesting things going on in the movies that you could say that it's about one person, though I get where Lucas was coming from with that, because it certainly takes that character from its beginning to its end in a very, he's heavily involved in all 6 movies. But yeah, I think with Palpatine, there's been rumors again that he might have been either behind Snoke, or that he was Snoke, or that he had kind of embodied Snoke. And I was talking to someone about this in work the other day, because how I see Snoke in Last Jedi, at least, is that he's an Emperor wannabe. He's kind of taken the mold of the Empire. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna take stormtroopers. I'm gonna do my own slant, and I'm gonna have my own kind of throne room with red guards and all this. And it felt like he was an Emperor fanboy who was strong with the dark side of the Force, but a little bit short-sighted when it came to Kylo Ren. But you could look into it as it might have been a little bit more to it than that. I don't know. So I'm really intrigued to see how the Emperor plays into all of it, which is exactly what they want us to be thinking and talking about right now, is the speculation. So, yeah.
Well, so minor stuff that we saw. I mean, I don't know if it's minor. Just a quick hi to everybody in the chat. What's up, Tom? What's up, James? What's up, Marty? What's up, Manhammer AR-15? Ryan? Dale? What's up? Daniel? Okay, we're caught up. What's up, Sarah? We're all caught up. How you guys doing? We're just gonna be us.
We're fine here now. How are you?
So the first image that I will put up, which was something we put up Monday night, is the C-3PO with red eyes.
You probably didn't recognize me because of the red eyes.
Is it that big a deal? Could it be something like?
Well, I've heard that he has a big role to play in the movie.
Really?
Yes, and if you remember, there was a poster that leaked a while ago, and he was on the poster holding Chewie's bowcast, which sounds ridiculous, but the actual poster itself was first look images at Kylo and Rey that we'd never seen before, which have the look that we see them in now. So I don't know what that was all about. And Anthony Daniels has said that, I'm in this one a lot, and I don't know. I don't have the I don't have a theory on that one. I have no idea, but I don't know. I got nothing really, but because you hear these outlandish theories like, oh, he's going to turn evil, or that's not even 3PO, that's an evil 3PO, or like an evil droid of the same make. I don't know.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a book where they make an evil 3PO or something to that effect.
Oh, really?
with red. Yeah, I'm not well versed on the
me either.
Expanded stuff. But what if it's as simple as that the New Order hacked into his whatever and that's him in evil mode or something, and he's recording plans or some jazz.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely outcome, I think. It's some kind of, although it's like, right, we're gonna write this program where we can like tap into like droids and stuff, and it's like, should we just make it so that his eyes are red? And it's just like, don't you think that would be a bit conspicuous? No, it's cool. It's just,
the audience needs to know.
It's like 3PO's walking around. They're like, "You okay, 3PO? You look a little bit like you been sleeping enough. Just."
I told you never to smoke when you're on the job, 3PO.
You've been having some of that special oil.
But yeah, it is J. I'm assuming JJ has something to do with just about everything. He is a marketing whiz. This could be a lot of mirages, so to speak, because he's been really good at that. When I went back and watched, so the first bit we got from Force Awakens, that incredible shot of Kylo running up and charging up his saber. That's nowhere. That's not in the movie. There's a bunch of stuff that's vanity shots to get you all gassed up, The same can be said for Last Jedi. So, while I'm excited, I mean, the best, I think in the Disney age of Star Wars, the most jaw-dropping, holy crap, I really need to see this movie moment was when the TIE fighter hovered on that walkway at the end of the Rogue One teaser or trailer or whatever. I was like, oh, that's awesome. We didn't get that. So how much weight can you really put into any of this?
Yeah.
They might just play the old movies. Hell, they gave us more of that than anything.
Well.
So the fight between the fight between Kylo and Rey is on a very watery area, but somebody has pointed out that it looks like the surface of the Death Star.
It's the Death Star, for sure. You can see one of the turrets, and it's the same. But also, I mean, we saw in the actual trailer when they look out to the ocean and there's that curved dish. It's the same place, My wonder is like, okay, it has to be the second Death Star because the first one blew up in space. The second one also blew up in space, but I mean, it was close to a planet. So I mean, is it on Endor? And if it isn't, how the fuck did it get wherever that planet is? So
well, maybe Endor's had some serious global warming, and now they're dealing with a lot of water or something. It's a message movie.
Get the water.
It's going down.
Tidal waves, Ewoks running away.
Oh, yeah. So Ryan, good point. Let me take two steps back, and because you said the C word, and I forgot to mention that Monday, and I'll remember to do it now. Even if this may be a hodgepodge of out of orderness, but we are aware that clones exist in this universe. Who's to say that anything that happens with anybody is or is not a clone? Like perhaps that shot of Rey at the end is a clone. I mean, I don't know why you would clone a droid, but I'll just throw out that for now, and then we'll maybe circle back to that because we haven't really talked about the Rey shot. But I just wanted to remind myself to talk about clones because it does exist in the universe. But the fight scene, do you think that's the be all end all?
No, definitely not.
Is it even third act?
I feel like it might be second. But I'm not sure. I mean, that was one of the wonderful things about seeing The Last Jedi for the first time, which was just like, holy shit! Once we got to the throne room scene, it's like, wow, we're at the end.
Yeah,
it's like nope.
yeah.
And then like in the back of my head, I was like, wait, we haven't even seen like the snow planet yet, which would turn out to be the mineral planet. So that's one thing that where you watch the trailers a lot and you kind of have these expectations in your mind, like the TIE fighter shot you were talking about. I remember watching Rogue One and thinking like, I think when they go down in the elevator after like fiddling around, I was like, wait, where's the and then it's kind of like it's taking me out of the movie a little bit. So I think that I like that they throw in those little things. I do think that TIE fighter shot was meant to be in the movie, but obviously they changed a lot of what that third act was going to be apparently. So, but
because they have a shot where Jin's running in the beach, and she was never on the beach.
I don't remember that one.
Or maybe somebody else was running in the beach.
You mean Rey in The Last Jedi? There's a shot of her running across a beach in the trailer that isn't in the movie.
What did I say?
Jin.
Oh, yeah, they're all the same. Women.
Yeah, that's from a deleted scene in The Last Jedi when she runs across the beach of the island.
Women, Star Wars, just shoving them down our throat. Just
white brunette women. This is the only form of females that exist in the Star Wars leading actress universe.
We get it. They're good. Yeah, so it is like there you unfortunately when you watch trailers and stuff early, you create this little mental checklist. Especially, it all depends on how many times you watch a trailer too, and it's just like, all right, so when is that scene gonna happen? I haven't seen blank happen yet, so you like it affects your experience because you're just waiting for shot blank to happen.
Yeah, one good outcome of that was when again watching Last Jedi for the first time. Just try and stop me talking about that film. Is when Leia gets blown out of the ship, and I was livid. I was so angry because I thought she was dead, and I thought they filmed things in the trailers where she's on the mineral planet. Like, they fucking lied to us. Like, I was so angry. And then when that scene happened, it had even more power to it because I was so sure, and it was such an emotional roller coaster. I don't know if that was intended or not, but that was a good outcome of expecting something else, and a little turn, little twist.
You are at the polar opposite end of what the rest of the internet feels about that scene. I'll tell you that much.
I had a conversation with a few friends of mine who I hadn't seen in a long time on the weekend, and we were talking about the film, and he actually said about the Leia scene, I don't care what anyone says, I really liked it. And I was like, fucking A, like it's hard to find someone who enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, like the to kind of get off of speculation and kind of get on the internet for a little bit. I don't understand the lack of common sense that, like, we haven't heard from these characters in 30 years. You don't think that maybe, Luke would have taught Leia how to use the Force, like, a little bit, just in passing, just for, just in case, Leia, here's how to use the Force in case you need to, pull something near you or whatever. Like that baffled me. The fact that people were like, they didn't, like, that's not my Luke. And like, dude, have you ever seen your grandfather after 5 years? Like, they're like, this is a dude who's 40 years removed from saving the world, and he tried training somebody else and it backfired. Yeah, it might make you a little salty. Like, I just never understood the ability to just open up and accept change from the characters. It was just so strange.
I'll jump in there. I this past week I rewatched The Making of The Last Jedi, and I love how that documentary keeps in all the stuff of Mark Hamill just being like, I really don't like what they're doing here.
Right.
And there's a bit where he says, my character would never do this. He's so optimistic, and he would never give up. A Jedi never gives up. And it's interesting to note that Mark Hamill has only seen the original trilogy like a couple of times. Like, he hasn't watched them in like 20 years. Luke gives up. Well, he didn't give up, but I mean, in Empire Strikes Back, he's trying to lift the X-Wing out, and he just gives up.
Yeah.
He does have those moments where he feels like, okay, I can't do this, and whatever. So I think that Mark Hamill maybe looks back on the original trilogy with rose-tinted glasses in terms of how pure and optimistic Luke was as a character.
Right.
And so then people just latch onto that and then extrapolate. Well, he hates it, so and I don't think he hates it, but I do think that maybe some of his reservations were a bit misguided. Which and he's such a beloved person. It's probably hard for people to accept that, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, I mean, the all the speculation after Force Awakens was like, oh, why is Luke hiding? Why did he run away? What could it possibly be? He's had it with the Force. This movie sucks. That's not my Luke. What do you mean? You wanted to know what would make him do that? If anything, the theme of the theme of The Last Jedi is failure. It's just nothing but failure. And that's bad filmmaking, I guess. When people talk about Last Jedi in the same conversation as the prequels, I really, really kind of cringe because, one was a well-made film and the others are toy commercials.
I was going to say there's an element of it where you look at the character of Luke, who had been built up over these three classic movies to be the new hope, to be this new kind of, comes from the most powerful bloodline. So at the end of that movie, he is like the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing another trilogy, like I don't know how many years after, like 30 years afterwards, and it's generational, right? So we've got a new set of characters. It's their story. So what do you do with the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy? You kind of need to put him down a few pegs.
Yeah.
If Last Jedi opened up with Luke going, "Oh, sure, I'll take that lightsaber. Let's go kick some First Order
Yeah.
ass."
Yeah.
There's a 20-minute movie there, or there's just a So I
Well,
like how they did that with him, and it was a good reason to.
part of it is Return of the Jedi. He's not even sure of himself going into the third act. He's not sure he can handle it, and he takes it on knowing that it's not a sure thing. So who's to say that the same thing can happen backwards, where he has this confidence and then gets proven wrong, and then just doubts everything that, like, we know Luke as somebody who has insecurity and doubt more than we don't. So like all of that stuff is just get out of here with
like
that shit.
even in Return of the Jedi, when he goes in and he kind of, well, he doesn't really. I guess Vader's the one who kind of saves the day, but
Yeah.
he's not even fully sure of himself. Like, it seems like his plan is to take them both down, or at least to turn his father and take the Emperor down and go down with the ship.
Yeah.
But he says to the Emperor, "Soon you'll be dead, and soon I'll be dead, and you with me." It seems like he's on a suicide mission in that sense. So, it's just I always feel like Luke has been a bit of a temperamental character, and so it fit with me. But anyway, we'll maybe leave The Last Jedi for a bit and shift gears, because there's still a lot to talk about. Like the Emperor,
Oh yeah. Do you have 4 hours? Because we could just talk about the laugh for 3 of them if you'd like. The Emperor's quite a intriguing topic.
For me, the thing with it is that if it's this thing where Force Awakens, Last Jedi happened, and then now it's like, oh, and now the Emperor turns up, it's a bit like, even though they've now said that it's kind of been part of the plan all along for him to be in 9. But if it's a thing where he's been involved, like the Phantom Menace, and he has had some sort of involvement, no matter how physical or metaphysical, whatever, throughout 7 and 8 in some way, then I would enjoy that, because I prefer him being kind of like the villain of the entire saga. Because even in Star Wars and Empire, he has no real part to play in that beyond one small scene.
Yeah.
But he's still in
Vader's
sense,
boss.
the overlord. Really, I think they do mention him in the first movie, don't they? The Emperor. Yeah. So he's kind of this faceless for a few movies.
Yeah, and Vader's a bit of a pissant, like that, getting mocked by a bunch of people, like, it's all changed. It's
Yeah.
we've come quite a far way here.
Yeah. And I was wondering if he was going to be a specter, a ghost, like how they were going to implement him into the film. I just saw an interview with Daisy Ridley where she said it's not like he just turns up. She said it's all explained, So I feel like there is going to be some sort of big plot device where it's kind of telling us why he's involved, how he's involved, and that'll lead us into whatever confrontation will take place.
Yeah. So I've read a theory that again I fell right into the clickbait. I was swimming in the water. Somebody showed a video clip of the Emperor getting thrown over the edge at the end of Return of the Jedi, and the electricity rising up, and then you see it kind of shock Darth Vader's helmet for a second. And again, apparently in the books and all the sideways media that aren't films, people can transport themselves if they have the right amount of midi-chlorians. but there's a theory that with Kylo talking to Vader's helmet in Empire, Force Awakens, that the Emperor has actually transferred his soul, spirit, what have you, into Vader's helmet, because you see this little electricity thing happen there at the end when Vader throws him over, and here's Kylo trying to impress Grandpa, but he's actually summoning the Emperor, a la Child's Play or something. I don't.
I'd heard the theory of the helmet, but I hadn't heard it linked to that moment in Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And on the one hand, it's like, to me, it's like a very cheesy kind of like retcon. But on the other hand, I don't hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch where I'm like, well, if it's executed a certain
way,
I might be all right with that.
I mean, I certainly when we saw that first trailer and we heard his laugh, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. And I thought, is it for effect? And then they brought him out on stage, and I thought, holy fuck, he's in the movie. How the hell is this going to play out? But then I thought, I'm not sure. And then the poster with like his actual kind of, image.
That line in the trailer too, is that new? Is that something we've never heard before? Your journey's coming to an end or coming to a close?
No,
or something like that?
I've certainly never heard it, and it does feel like an older voice for him, because he does a lot of conventions and he'll do the voice for people, and he has aged and it does sound a little bit different. So I do think it is
stronger.
I do know that the laugh was like a pre-recorded thing from like the prequels or something. He didn't record that recently, so I was going somewhere with this. Right, so the first thing I thought once it became established he was going to be in Episode 9 was the line in Revenge of the Sith where he's talking about cheating death, And I like that. I like how that could kind of, hopefully it'll work, it's like poetry at once.
Jar Jar's the key to this. Hopefully it'll work.
I love how that Jar Jar is the key to all of this. That's like the perfect example of something being taken out of context. Like he's talking about, the visual effect of creating a digital character. Hopefully it'll work for the visual effects, but people think that he means the whole movie. Jar Jar's the key to the entire story.
But yeah, the Emperor. Shit. What were you saying before we went off on the?
Yeah, like the cheating death thing. And so one thing I can kind of go into is there's another rumor because Matt Smith is apparently in the movie. You could look at him and say, I could buy that as a younger emperor. Whether that's a flashback, it's a time travel thing. I think there's also a rumor he plays one of the Knights of Ren.
Okay.
We haven't talked about as well. And also I've seen a rumor that the Emperor's consciousness is inside his body. So if that's how we deal with the Emperor, is that it's his consciousness inside other people, I'd kind of be, I don't know, it's strange, I'd be disappointed, even though it makes sense because his body is gone, right? Like he went down that thing, there's no real, coming back from that. But I kind of want to see him in the robes again. Like, I want to see that physical. I want to see him in the robes doing a scene with Kylo Ren. Like the acting going on between those two would be incredible. So if it's like we just hear like Ian McDermott's voice through other people's mouths, like I don't know if I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
No,
you know I need Ian McDermott because chew up some scenery, please. While
fuck yeah, man. Sorry, I've been saying this ever since they started making these. Like, fucking give us the Emperor again. Like you're doing like Rogue One and stuff. I thought, bring fucking just
that was weird to avoid that.
So I think that they are being truthful when they say this was a part of the plan. To kind of hold him off until this moment, and that's probably why they haven't used him since then. Well, since they started doing the new movies.
So Ryan thinks I don't think that's Ian's voice actually.
It sounds quite a lot like him, but I mean,
that would be interesting if it were. I mean, you brought the actor back. What
yeah, exactly. But it's not like they have like cast listings for trailers, so we don't really know, I suppose. But it sounds like an older You know?
Yeah, and it could again, it could be repurposed stuff from stuff they never used. These like there's I'm especially leery about what we saw just recently. And granted, it was only for D23 or whatever, but we've never gone this long with such little. Again, in the Disney age of Star Wars, we've never gone this long with so little footage to chew on. We're 4 months away. We're less than 4 months away, and we have what, maybe 2 minutes total.
No,
Maybe.
I don't know. I think it's fairly in line. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's usually the trailer, and then in the summer of the movie coming out, there's usually something like a behind the scenes reel, or in this case, 40 seconds of new footage. And then I think it's October where they release like the second full proper trailer.
Yeah. What are you putting in front of though? Oh, they're gonna buy time during some football show.
Yeah, it's been the Monday Night Football thing for episodes 7 and 8. So I don't know if they'll follow the same model for that, but
It used to be you were Fox and you wanted people to go watch your Fox movie, so you said, hey, if you want to watch the trailer for episode 3, you got to go watch I don't know, 13 going on 30 or whatever whatever the hell. I don't even know if that's Fox, but still, you get my gist. I like, that's the only thing that good or bad, I'm just puzzled that we don't have that much to chew on, and a lot of it could be stuff that we'll never see or stuff that's in a vision. Speaking of in a vision, I guess I'll use this time to go ahead and throw up the image of Rey area at the end with that parallel lightsaber that ends up looking like a Darth Vader jump off. A Darth Maul jump off. And she looks she don't look right.
yeah.
She looks a little, maybe a little underfed, a little maleficent-y, perhaps.
Yeah, the thing that
With
throws
Sith.
it off for me is the hood. It's way too like high on her head. Like
Yeah.
it just seemed. I guess it's the bun that's holding it up, but it's a weird. It looks like a digital robe. It's strange. I don't know. That whole little 2-shot sequence. I can barely call it a sequence, but those 2 shots. The first time I saw it, I thought, oh, that looks like a fan film. It just didn't look polished. It looked really like, and especially given all these years we've had now of like fan art of Dark Rey, it just seemed like a total servicing of everyone who was kind of like, oh yeah, this is stuff like Rey with like dark clothes and a double red lightsaber, and it just seemed all a bit too really. And then like just the look of it was a bit off, I think. But anyway, I don't know. You can talk about your thoughts on that if you want.
Oh, are you abstaining?
No, I'm just I want to hear what you think, I guess.
I think it's Luke's hand on R2. I think it's right along those lines. I think it's a shot that's probably used for deceit in one way or another. Maybe the Emperor's fucking with Kylo and shows just what her at her full power would be like what his true enemy is, or a clone. If we find again fun theories on Rey and her lineage.
Oh God, yeah.
So perhaps there's more than one Rey. Maybe she's just a bunch of Commander Codys, and just evil Reys all over the place, or I don't know. Like, I don't think Rey's going dark and then altering her lightsaber to be that. It just doesn't feel legit to me. And then, who knows? It'll be a first act thing where it's just like, oh wow, okay, well, Just like the throne room from Last Jedi. I was just like, wait a minute. I could have swore this only started like an hour ago. What are we doing? So I don't buy it as anything. There's no way they're doing a double switch. There's no, because Kylo has to die, right? Like, we agree on that. He has to die. We don't agree on that.
I want to kind of maybe save this till the end. I have a theory about the movie which ties in with that, but I don't want him to die. No.
Somebody's got to die.
Hmm.
So Leia's got to die, if only for convenience sake. Lando. Let's just get rid of the past. Fell swoop. Just a terrible Millennium Falcon accident where.
That's all it is. Like, Lando gets back on the Falcon, he flies it. He's like, "We're having a great time here," and then 3PO comes in with his red eyes. He's like, "Wow, what have we here?" And then,
it's like the opening of Attack of the Clones. The thing just blows up. Yeah, no. I need some death. You know.
I need some death.
Some people got to, Ben's got to pay. He almost killed Leia. He did kill Han, but don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of where we're going with him. Mm-hmm. So if he goes full dark side, that's cool too. But something tells me that he's gonna have to. What if the Emperor screws him over and the Emperor lives on, or maybe his redemption is killing the Emperor, which would be cool, I guess. The only way, like, the Emperor's just so strong that the only way that he's going to be defeated is both Rey and Kylo joining together. And
I think it's safe to say it's probably one of the easiest predictions we could probably make is that Rey and Kylo will probably team up to take down the Emperor in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, I think
Easy.
that has to be where they're going. I have no idea in what form. Mm-hmm. And so the case with Kylo and death and redemption and everything, I think there's been too much build up for his conflict over the first two movies for him to just go dark and get killed and die as a villain. I also think he's gone too far to be completely redeemed. The handy thing with Vader was that he redeemed himself. He made things right, but he also died. So it wasn't like an awkward thing where it's like, "Oh, great, Dad. Oh, you did kind of murder like millions of people now." It's a bit weird,
Millions.
We can't really have you over for dinner, the Skywalker family, Thanksgiving or anything. But just we'll put you in prison and pay for your crimes. But
I mean, we are having Christmas at the Younglings Memorial, so I don't think it's a good idea for you to show up.
Dad, there's a woman here. She says that her grandfather was a kid called Sauce Bandy, and she's really not happy with you. Wait, that's fucked up. That would have mean that Sauce Bandy would have had to have impregnated someone like age 11, so forget that.
Maybe it could have been a cousin or a brother or something.
Yeah,
did Vader die? Yes, Vader died. Sauce
Bandy elected into a sperm freezing program when he was 9 years old, and so that's where the family lives on.
Sauce Bandy's he's where it all lies.
It's the key to all this.
He's the key to it all.
The phantom flinch.
That was the best take, huh, George? Okay. All right, George.
Right, so if Kylo is to redeem himself, turn face, and then die by killing the Emperor, we're really just repeating Return of the Jedi, And I don't like that.
Yeah.
It just seems like it would seem like how everyone else seemed to feel about The Force Awakens being a remake of A New Hope to me. If they were to have him redeem himself, kill the Emperor, and then die, it's
Yeah,
the same thing.
but people went so ape shit about them trying something different. The Last Jedi was, for the
Oh, right.
most part, different.
Yeah. Well,
So there's no winning with these people.
I know. I know. Yeah, you said those people.
Those people.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tricky, but in a bit I'll talk about my theory about Kylo. And there was something else, right? So Rey and the whole lineage, parentage thing. I don't want to spoil this for anyone, but I do have on very good authority a little bit of insider information. Kylo does die, and at the very end of the movie, Rey goes to pick up. There's some items and artifacts that Kylo left behind, and so she picks up this like duffel bag of his stuff, and there's some like coordinates in it. So she goes to this waterfall. Before that, there's a woman who like reads kind of Rey's identification card, and she's like, "Oh, I like that name. You should use it more often, Shmi." And then we go back in time. Rey goes in and becomes the mother of Anakin, and there we go. That's a big theory, the Shmi Rey thing, which is just bonkers. I think.
Yeah, but Shmi isn't. What? See now, didn't Qui-Gon test Shmi as well?
I don't know. Not in the movie.
I thought he checked both of them for their midi-chlorian count, and
Well, you'd also have to account for Rey suddenly acquiring a European accent.
yeah.
You know.
Well,
But yeah.
so, something I brought up Monday was so Palpatine was turned on by the prospect. Careful, pay attention to the words I'm saying. The prospect of Anakin's capabilities, young Anakin's capabilities in Phantom Menace. And then we have a 10-year gap. Who's to say that, Senator Palpatine didn't find out who little Anakin's mom was and, get a hold of her, I don't know, eggs and I mean they had a factory that made clones. Who's to say that he couldn't get a hold of her eggs and store them somewhere and just try to recreate and in case of an emergency break glass and then recreate the next possible thing, which Rey could be Darth Vader's sister.
Yeah, it's all a bit like it's a bit far-reaching, I think. Like we look at the whole Snoke theories, your Snoke theory sucks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's Mace Windu, he's Swords Bandine, he's this, he's that. And who was he? He was no one. Or well, we still don't know, I suppose, if we look at the Emperor theory. But I think in most cases, these theories are just so outlandish that the truth of it is seems tame in comparison sometimes. But that Shmi stuff is just very odd to me. There's a theory that she's Anakin reincarnated.
What?
That she's been cloned from Luke's hand. A friend of mine came up with the other night because of his hand on the lightsaber. It's all a bit odd.
Which, at the very least, you could say they sort of set up in Force Awakens when the lightsaber called to her. So, I mean, it's it's far fetched, but at least they planted the seed on that one.
Mm-hmm. And we've already seen a recent blockbuster with iconic character who had a daughter who was also a clone of him. So it's Logan.
Oh, right, man. Man, yeah, it's been a while since I haven't seen that in forever. Jeez. Yeah. So all right. Well, go on to Kylo, or unless you're done with Rey and the Emperor.
Oh, probably not really, but yeah, I mean, I suppose you just get lost in so many tangents about these things. Okay, so my theory isn't something I think is going to happen, but just for the sake of it sounding more impressive, I'm going to tell you it as if I think this is definitely what's going to happen. So I think that Kylo doesn't get redeemed. I think that Kylo sacrifices himself for a good cause. You know, the whole back to the Force Awakens, he talks about how he feels the pull to the light. It feels like it's his destiny to do something for the light side of the Force, and he's just pulling against it with everything he's got for the whole story. He finally relents in whatever form and sacrifices himself, maybe to kill the Emperor or something like that, and he dies. He doesn't really redeem himself, but he dies. Then Ben Solo is brought back to life, is resurrected. And you could even think of maybe Luke and Anakin coming back, the Skywalker family, father and son, and using all of their strength to bring him back. And then they fade away forever for good. And Ben Solo is back, reborn. He's able to kind of maybe form a new life. And then you have the rise of Skywalker. And it ties back to the beginning of the whole story, where in a very Jesus-like form, Anakin was born out of nothing. And at the end, you have the death and the rebirth. But yeah, I don't really think that's going to happen. But I was thinking about it. I thought that could be kind of cool.
I think we're getting literal. I think Luke was the last Jedi. He didn't want to train Rey, and I think the rise of Skywalker is Luke's coming back. And
I don't
at all.
Oh,
as
sure.
a Force ghost,
of course he's in the movie. They've he's in the movie 100%, but it's not. I don't think he has a big part to play. I don't think.
Unless of course Rey, of course, is somehow a Skywalker. And
I mean, when I say not a big part to play, I mean like screen time wise. You know, I think whatever he does will be fairly significant, whether it's visiting Kylo or whatever, the whole see around kid thing. But I think that it's going to rest more on Rey, Kylo, and the Emperor.
Yeah.
There's also the idea that Skywalker will become the new term for whatever this next generation of Jedi is going to be. Or that Rey will take on the name in some sort of like ceremonial fashion. Not be related by blood, but kind of carry the name on. Perhaps after Kylo dies, which I think he probably might do. Because I can't see them killing Rey. It just doesn't seem to fit. And as you say, there probably should be some pretty heavy death in the film.
Yeah, I need one big one. Give me one big one. Gem Z Kenobi says, "How about this? Kylo's defeated by Rey, comes back in the Vader suit. That's why the breathing was the clip at the end." Yeah, they're getting cute with all the audio clips in these trailers. Yeah, why play a Vader clip is a hell of a question.
Just to get people talking. But I do think, as much as I don't want to see it, I do think we're gonna get some Anakin interference, run in with a steel chair, probably some kind of dusty finish.
Some dusty finish. He's not winning clean, that's for certain.
Anyway, so the Vader helmet thing, I guess I didn't fully finish talking about that myself. The idea that Kylo is speaking to this thing and it's replying to him. To me, I don't know, what did he say in The Force Awakens? He's like, "Show me." But did he say "show me" again? I can't remember. I can't remember the exact dialogue. I don't know if it's implied that this thing has actually talked back to him. I don't think it was. I think it's more just a symbolic thing where he talks to it like some nutter,
How does he still have that helmet? Because wasn't that at a Starkiller base when he went and then it split? Wasn't like there was that was left behind, or was that in one of the?
It was in one of the ships.
It was one of the ships?
Yeah, it was on his room on the ship, I think.
Convenient.
Of course, yeah. So that voice talking to him could have been the Emperor, perhaps, and so he could have been sold a lie as to, because, I mean, if we're looking at it literally from the end of Return of the Jedi, Anakin becomes good again in some way, and his Force spirit is good, not evil. And so why would that person who's redeemed himself be like, oh yeah, actually, you know what, grandson, go fucking evil, like.
It's funny, but before Last Jedi, everybody was talking about Lord Plagueis the Wise.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be. It's gonna be him. He's important, and that name hasn't been uttered since. Now we have Palpatine back, and nobody's talking about Plagueis, and okay, I just wanted to throw that out there because it's just weird that everybody wanted to talk about it for 4 months and now nothing. Cinematech says, what are your thoughts on the Rey and Shmi theory?
We just talked about it.
Yeah. You okay with it if it ends up being that?
No, I don't like it. I think that comes with a huge amount of retconning, which I don't really like that much.
Yeah.
It's really tricky to make that kind of thing work, because you really are, and especially with those 3 movies, the prequels being George's story completely. That was his baby, whether you like it or not. That was his. And then to say, oh, actually, George, we're kind of changing that now, and that character's something completely different. I don't know. But even that, just as a kind of idea, I don't really enjoy it very much.
So the line was, "Show me again, grandfather."
It
claims Jem Z Kenobi.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It would play into, like, if Rey's mother is Shmi somehow, it does play into, just hear me out. If Rey's mother is Shmi, it does play into why Kylo would think that she's nothing because she was a slave. So he wasn't technically lying. And they can still kind of retcon and do whatever the hell they want to do with the Shmi story, because, Shmi wasn't anybody that big a deal. I mean, no pod is worth 2 slaves.
I don't know. That whole thing is, it just doesn't fit. I like the idea of Rey being no one, but I think that the whole drunken traders or whatever, it's a bit.
I don't like that either, though. I don't like the absolute nobody.
Yeah, no, I think because she's the one who says it, they were nobody. It's not like he lied to her, but I think that he sees inside her deepest kind of mind that that's what she thinks deep down, and I don't think that's maybe true. But if he sees it in her mind to being true, then maybe he believes it. And I don't know. I just don't think that there's been too much setup. There's been too much. We're not giving her a second name. There's been too much, all this stuff.
What about Finn? What about Poe? We losing them? Anything happening there?
I'm not sure, really.
Tico.
Yeah, that wouldn't that just be a shitstorm? For all the wrong reasons. I don't know. Yes, that's an interesting, especially considering Poe was supposed to die in the first 2 minutes of Force Awakens.
Yeah, and Finn essentially has done the same thing twice. Kind of been a coward. Trying to run away, then tries to save, but really kind of doesn't. And all right, so his 2 movies have kind of mimicked each other. So what do you got for me with Finn now?
No, I don't think so. No, I think the first one, he was trying to save Rey, right? That was his kind of thing, because
at the end, the first act and a half, he was trying to get out of town.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. So he wanted to get out of it, but the only reason he stayed was to save her because she got kidnapped. Like he was a little bit conflicted about it, but he committed to, I'm not involved in any of this. I want to get out of this entire thing. And then she got taken, and so he wanted to save her, but he wasn't on the good side. He wasn't with the resistance. And then Last Jedi is about him figuring out where he sits with that, because still he runs off to go see where she is, to be with her, and then he gets kind of yeah, and he gets sidelined. And so no, I think there's two different arcs there for him in both
Well,
movies.
at the beginning of Jedi, he's trying to run and gets caught, and then kind of gets dragged. Yeah, the more I've watched and the more I think about it, the more the Canto Bite scene, it's really unnecessary. Could be done without. I still enjoy Last Jedi, but it's one of the weaker moments of the Disney series. But he does have and the whole thing, like the whole thing of him doing the act, the savior act there at the end, for her to nearly kill both of them, trying to avoid that. Like, I get what he's doing. I don't understand what she's doing. Like,
really?
Yeah, really. Like, sweetheart, it's over. They're at the door. What are you doing? All right, cool. You two are safe. It's curtains for everybody in there. This is a giant laser shooter thing, and you. Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. How are you?
She saves him because she's sweet on him. That's all it is, and she's stupid. Like
I'll agree with that. She's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, that I love that line, even though people hate it, because there is a genuine sentiment to it, but there's also a kind of a bit of stupidity to it as well, given that situation. But it seems perfectly fitting to me, in the sense of someone who's kind of grown to care about someone and then just does something stupid.
Which also does play into the movie too very well, because Leia tells Poe to pull back because they're losing so many people. For all those people that say Last Jedi is a bad movie, you're wrong. It is not a bad movie. They set things up and pay them off, and
yeah.
This seems like a Last Jedi defense.
I know, it's hard to fall into it, but hard not to fall into it, I should say. But I like his arc, because by the end of The Last Jedi, he does decide to pick a side. And I love that bit with DJ when he's just like, this is, you're wrong. And DJ's like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And I love how that was a Benicio del Toro line. Like, there was just some generic line, and he's like, why don't I just say maybe, And I think it's one of the best lines of the whole film, and it came from the actor. But so now we'll see Finn as a fully fledged, he's picked his side and he's going to fight on it. I don't foresee there being too much complexity with that character.
Yeah.
I think that, and I wouldn't blame them, they should really shift most of the focus on Kylo, Rey, and that side of it. And obviously we need all the other characters, and I have read that Rey, Poe, and Finn will be together for the majority of the movie, which we've never seen before. So we'll get to see kind of our three new heroes actually on a legit adventure together. So that'll be cool to see. But obviously at some point she's going to be like, okay, I got to go and, splinter off and do my,
Listen, I'm the talented one here, so you guys skedaddle. How much screen time do you think we're getting from old footage of Carrie Fisher?
Oh, that's a good one. Not much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do know we'll be seeing more of Leia than, the kind of old footage. So that'll be intriguing to see how that gets implemented into.
Oh, they're not doing the CGI thing, are they?
They have to be.
Are they Sopranosing it, or are they Rogue Oneing it?
I've never seen The Sopranos, so
Sopranos is the woman, like outtakes of the woman's head, and this is 20 years old CGI at this
Okay.
point, but like the head just doesn't fit the. So,
I have read, and I will say, with the most certainty I can say on any rumor, that we'll be seeing a Luke and Leia flashback scene, with him training her in some way, shape, or form. I don't know the context. And I did also read that her daughter was a stand-in for that scene. So I would imagine it's a younger Leia and probably some trickery. As for current Leia, I have no idea. JJ keeps saying, like, yeah, we just saw this old footage. We just thought, oh, this is like perfect. Like, it couldn't have been better. And I don't know. I'm not sure how they're going to work it into. I do remember there was apparently a deleted section of The Force Awakens where the Resistance had their own weapon. I think it's called the Hammerhead or something like that. And there was a whole like subplot, so it could be related to that and some sort of big battle that they have in The Rise of Skywalker, and so they could use her scenes from that. I might just be throwing bits I've read together and jumbling them. I'm not sure, but
see, like one of the stupid things that I thought, back when she died and after seeing Last Jedi, there's like no hope, or very little hope at the end of Last Jedi. You've got to work around the fact that the actress is dead. Kill her off really quickly in the first act of Rise of Skywalker and have everybody rally around the fact that their leader has been taken out, and like that is motivation for everybody else to seek revenge and go do justice for the better good. Or not.
I somehow feel like they're not going to kill her off. I just have this gut feeling, but I agree with what you just said. Use it, and especially, what I like is that it's a time jump as well. It is like a year or so after The Last Jedi, which we haven't had yet, and so you can imagine that Rey and Leia would have grown quite close, and so you could see a scene where Daisy Ridley is acting over the death of Leia, and there's going to be a lot of real emotion in that.
Sure,
But
absolutely.
But I don't know. I really have no clue. I think the shot that we see her in the recent thing, someone's pointed out it's like a shot from The Force Awakens.
With repurposed hair.
Yeah, and completely different. And it does look a little digital, So I'm wondering about the visual aspect, but also the story aspect. I've got no idea. But screen time, I would say, safe to say, relatively small.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping they surprise me and that it's more seamless than I can imagine it being, which isn't very, I think.
Well, we've been going for an hour. What's the big last thing you want to talk about from what we have? Because we're probably gonna get another trailer, and we'll probably hook up for that and go gaga over that shit. But from what you have now, from the infinite amount of theories and speculation, like what are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to? What do you got? What do you got for me right now as far as ROTS?
Yeah, well, so the whole theory I had about, Kylo dying and being resurrected, the Rise of Skywalker and stuff, I liked that just as far as the theory that popped into my head. I don't think that'll happen at all. But really, like, predictions-wise, I never really have anything solid, really. I never really going, oh, this is going to happen, or this should happen. I like surrendering myself to it a little bit, and just kind of allowing myself to be taken on the ride and not overthink it too much, even though we've just sat down talking for an hour, overthinking everything. But it's kind of fun just to go through, and I feel like if we just like speculate on everything, then there's so much ground has been covered that eventually we'll be surprised somewhere with the movie. But I hope I am surprised in the same way The Last Jedi surprised me. I do feel like, as someone self-admittedly who's obsessed with that movie, there's no way it's going to top The Last Jedi, and so I need to kind of temper my expectation on that. and a lot of that's probably to do with Mark Hamill, I think, because he gave such a great performance in that film, and he's not going to have the opportunity in this, I don't think, to kind of match that. But the main thing I'm looking forward to is Rey and Kylo. I mean, it's that dynamic, and it's that journey and character relationship that has, I think, carried the past two movies. You know, I loved seeing Han Solo again. That was so much fun. I loved seeing Luke again. That was great, and probably my favorite thing about The Last Jedi. But the big carrying point of those two films was those two characters and their relationship together. So I just hope that that delivers. And considering the two actors who are playing those characters, I think it probably will.
Yeah.
Particularly Adam Driver. And I remember, I think the BAFTAs this year, he was there because he was nominated for Black Klansman, and he was doing an interview, and his voice was like gone, and he'd just been filming Star Wars. So I'm sure we're going to get to see some pretty intense stuff. And I did see JJ say that he's mind blowing in the film, but I mean. That's just kind of generic stuff that directors say when they're, you know, kind of hyping up their movie. But
and J.J. Abrams, you never hear him market something. That's crazy.
But considering the guy we're talking about in Adam Driver, I could actually see that lining up pretty faithfully. So, in fact, I would actually say it's mainly him. He's the main drawing point for me, and I do think the Rise of Skywalker, in some sense, will relate to him in some way. Probably not in the literal sense I was talking about earlier. You know, The Force Awakens, it's Rey. Last Jedi, it's Luke. And I would argue those three characters, Kylo, Rey, and Luke, are kind of the three figureheads of the trilogy. So I think it will in some way, shape, or form. But yeah. And there's another rumor, which I think we will not talk about because I think it might spoil something for people. So I think...
If it's true...
I think it probably is. And I'm kind of really intrigued about how it plays into things. And that's one last thing I could say is that I'm really not too precious about rumors and spoilers this time around.
Yeah.
Last Jedi, I was really like, keep it away from me. I don't want to know anything. Now I'm kind of just like, let's see, like, well, what do you got? You know?
Yeah, because Last Jedi felt pretty final. Like it. If you told me that was it, I'd be like, all right, yeah. You know,
really?
Luke's dead, and you know the future is in the children. Okay, like I was kind of okay. Well, listen, I'm not saying that I wasn't hungry, but here it's like, I mean, you're bringing the Emperor back, and again, we've said this numerous times before. It's really interesting to judge a trilogy without having a trilogy. We're judging as we move along, and here I am. I think I like Force Awakens more than Last Jedi. I like them both certainly more than any two combined films in the prequel series. So at this point, I'm of the mentality, just stick to landing. Just just land the plane. Just don't do anything too crazy. Just don't reverse, because for me, Sith was the best of the prequels. Don't reverse it and give us the Phantom Menace to close this out.
Yeah, there is that worry. There is that feeling that they could give us an Alien 3. You know. Yeah. It's a situation where it's like, okay, we're just going to ignore the third one. It's good in some way, shape, or form. Maybe in 20 years I can appreciate some of its finer moments, but I'll just think of the first two as like the official movies.
Right.
or the Terminator 3, you know, like...
I think the internet has really ruined what at least some element of whatever their planning was, because the pushback was really...
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm really not sure.
Okay.
And that's a whole other thing, which we won't really get into. It's the whole the baton pass thing, where they've talked about how JJ was just like, here you go, Ryan, do whatever you want. And then Ryan's just like, there you go, Trevorrow, do whatever you want. And then Trevorrow's like, I don't know, JJ.
Give me this fucking thing, I'll do it.
Right. But then now we hear them say, well, this was kind of the plan. I don't know who to believe, but it just seems so unbelievably stupid of them to go on this venture and say, well, we'll just do 7 for now and see what happens. I don't buy it. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I hope not. Like that
no,
sounds
it just doesn't
insane.
fit. It's so
Especially
stupid.
at the tight schedule that they were trying to pull off. Like,
Right, exactly.
uh,
And so the only explanation is they're just being coy and being like, "Oh yeah, we didn't really play," But I don't know.
yeah.
I would love at the end of all of this just a big book, just tell all, going into all the processes. Like, what were George's scripts? Because he gave them treatments for 7, 8, and 9 when they bought Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
And obviously, apparently, they didn't use a lot of that stuff, but they used some of it. Apparently, some of the Last Jedi stuff is tied into his Episode 7 ideas.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah,
so.
that's whose story. I'm sure he's got a DNA, a DNR. What is it called?
NDA.
NDA, DNR, whatever.
George Lucas has got a digital noise reduction over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got an NDA, but I'm dying to hear what his story would be. Just even afterwards, even after 9 comes out. All right, this is what we had. What did you have? Just to see what would have been, but
I don't think we'll ever get that. Unfortunately, I remember Episode 7 era pre-release. There was some interview with JJ and George. I think I've told you this before, and he was like answering questions from an iPad or something. And George Lucas appeared on screen, and he asked JJ like, "So what's happened with Darth Vader's grandkids?" And JJ's like, "Ah, George," like that. And that always got me, like the grandkids line, which of course fueled the whole Rey speculation. You heard that?
No, I don't remember seeing that. I don't think.
Yeah. Plural. But but it has been made public that they didn't use everything in his treatments and have done their own thing, kind of. But that could be another element, maybe in 9. We don't know. They haven't really. I wouldn't call what Kylo says to Rey in The Last Jedi the final word on her parentage. It could be, but I doubt it.
Sure.
And you still got to wonder why they keep that under wraps. Like, why doesn't she have a last name, etc., etc. And also, apparently, in the first trailer, there's a ship that goes to that snow planet, and it looks almost exactly like the one that leaves Rey on Jakku when she's a kid. So, and I believe that might be the ship of Kerry Russell's character. So we might be going back into that. I don't know. Okay.
All right. So for now, we're going to wrap up for now. An hour and 20 minutes of we could watch this back in January and say, wow, 98% of it was just pure muck. So so who knows at this stage, but all we could do is speculate. But like I said, I'm pretty sure, at least I'll want to talk about it next time we get some sort of substantial amount of footage. I don't know if you're down for it, Luke.
Yeah, man. Always.
But anything you got coming up on Razorwire Reviews in the near future?
Yeah, I'll be starting my Asian Cinema Season 2 on Monday, I believe, or Sunday, 1st of September. That'll be a 6-week-long season of Asian cinema-themed film-related videos, reviews, and all sorts of stuff. So please check that out.
Awesome. And the channel link is down below.
Yeah.
Emily and I are in pre-production of something that will be on Patreon first, but it should be up soon. Patreon has crossed a threshold, so we have to reenact a scene, and you'll see it soon enough. We're pretty close. We got all the props and everything. We just got to figure out how to shoot it.
Yeah. Usually it would go without saying that I have Star Wars videos, but there has been a bit of a drought. But I've gone back to making them now. So just in case you wanted to hear me talking about Star Wars even more, which I highly doubt, I have started those back up as well.
Well, yeah, you got that whole series, The Road to Episode 9.
Yeah, those road videos have been going for like 2012. So 7 years now.
That road name has kind of taken off too, where people are. I mean, I'm not saying, much like I don't own the word "the list." You don't own the word "the road to," but oh boy, a lot the road to Halloween 2020, the road to Terminator, whatever the hell the name is.
or
Really
or me myself taking it and doing my road to end again. I'm ripping myself off.
Well, Luke, thanks again.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you again in the near future, and thanks everyone in the chat for keeping it nice and friendly and interactive. And
Yeah.
we'll see you the next time something else pops up. Until then, may the force be with you.